Yeah. The reality is that, and we all know this is not a revelation. We all know that for life to exist, it requires the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Those two polarities exist as our brains exist. On one side is left and one side is right, and that it makes one brain work that works together. That's the model. I mean, like, we are physically representations of the spiritual principle of oneness through the two polarities of creation, the divine masculine and feminine, but we're suspicious of each other because of what has happened with our misunderstandings. But it can be that we can see into the truth of our experience to call upon for a solution of loving both aspects of ourselves and being able to identify, oh, that what I just did, that was the masculine in me, and I'm so pleased that I have that aspect, and that the feminine in me will take care of this other thing that I have that aspect for. And everybody is on a sliding scale of flux of how much they will be in any given moment, but it is to remove either leaves us with a lack of creativity, which is what creates war. This is the best creation we can come up with, is war. Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am Lota of the Sun, and this is Tavares of the Sun. We welcome you to our chat today. But before we begin, Tavares, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Yes, we encourage you all to join us. Shall we call forth the frequency of truth? Shall we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Shall we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? And we are here in the truth.
Yes.
Working with the call for the truth, divination cards.
And our card for today is...
So we're talking about the divine. And this is through the lens of the heart chakra. And the maxim we're covering states, only in oneness will we see the divine creation principles within ourselves and call back our balance of the masculine and feminine from within. So we out of balance, Lota.
Oh my goodness,
We
yes.
way out of balance.
Yes, we are out of balance. And it's such a good card to talk about, because we can't get any further than that.
That's real.
Yeah,
That's
can't get any further. Then if you don't know that you're part of everything, we really can't have much more discussion, because that's the premise, that's the foundation, that is the ground that we stand upon. We're part of that ground.
That's so deep. Hearing you say that, seeing it from the perspective of humanity, especially those who are on the journey where we have our hang-ups of imbalances and not recognizing ourselves in the field, and our inability to do so stunts the growth. It stops us from moving into this space and beyond.
Absolutely.
Above the third dimensional experience into 4D and higher.
Yeah, it makes me want to talk about insects.
Let's talk about it. I like insects a lot.
I know, you're like...
I love them.
Yeah, you're a lover of insects.
Aliens.
So many of us have been taught that we are nothing and at the same time greater than everything. I know it doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, we've been taught that insects are dirty and that they'll hurt us, and that they imply poverty and scarcity, and we've been taught that any contact with insects makes us dirty because we're greater, cleaner, better, and it's just not the truth. The idea that all of life is what we need to really, it's really what the card is saying, and what we need to address. And that when we think that we're greater it's just a placeholder for, we have not been given the clarity of who we are. So because we haven't been given the clarity, we take this immature position of being, well, then I'm better than you. When in fact, you are me. You are the other me. You are my other self. You are the other part of the hologram. You are the other part of the fractal that is all part of creation. It is not even complicated.
You're like, look now. It is elementary. ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it is. You believe that you were made by Source. It is true. That's your daddy. So if that's your daddy, who are you?
We have forgotten the face of our Father.
Yes.
We have forgotten.
Yes. So this, it is all very incongruent. We are operating as we are insane.
Because we are. We've had these conversations.
Yes.
We're living in an insane asylum.
Yes.
Truly.
So the thought that we are not an aspect of the oneness that is the source of all things, and that we need to dislike, persecute, abuse, punish all other aspects, especially the ones that are smaller.
Hey, we're busy right now.
Especially the ones that are smaller than us, is really problematic, because in the scheme of things, we are not the biggest thing around. In the scheme of things, there are things much bigger than us.
Yes.
And then we are the ant to them. We are the roach to them. And just the way that we think of those small aspects of creation that are known as insects and microbes and all those things, atoms and molecules, all these, we don't think of it the same way as we do insects, but it's all the smaller things, many of which live on top of us and inhabit our bodies inside and out. Very much like a tree, the ants live on the trees. The birds live in the trees. The squirrels play in the trees.
Yeah.
So there are things that live on us, move in and out of us, and are on us all the time. But we have adopted that some of them are not good, like the ants are not good, or the roaches are not good, or the wasps are not good, or whatever however we have villainized insects. And I have seen movies that villainize one insect and elevate another, like the bees are good, but the wasps are bad.
Yeah, I feel like somebody sold us snake oil, and I'm like, can I return this back? I don't have the receipt, but I don't want this anymore because it's such a lie.
But it's the way we treat each other. It's the way we think, well, this is a food delivery driver, and this is a millionaire. And the person who works at the fast food restaurant is the same person they hire in the hospital who might be amputating your leg. Because we're all in the same mix, we're all in the same world together. So this idea of oneness it's not complicated, but we have been complicated by it. The way we think of it, the way we parcel out how we think about it. I often share with people, just remember Gulliver's Travels. Like the giant came and the little people tied him up, and then he broke loose, then he was the giant and they were the little people. So the tables could easily turn.
I was rooting for Gulliver. It's like, get up, Gulliver! You're greater than this. You forgot who you are. That's our story.
Yes.
I resonated with him.
It is, and at the same time, we are the little people.
Yeah, it's one and the same. Isn't that wild?
We're
like, that wild?
Don't let him get up and get us.
Right? Keep him strapped down.
Yeah.
Throw another rope and anchor him. Yeah.
So this idea, the way we can approach this topic from many, many directions, but the idea of oneness is the safe place because it's the place where the truth is. The truth is No matter how big you are, no matter how much of a giant, you're a mountain, you're still one with me. And I am one with you. If you're a microscopic microbe, we still one.
So this is bringing to mind something you've shared with me throughout the years, to see through the lens of the divine, and to see the sacredness, and how we don't see nothing as sacred.
Nope.
You know, we don't even have a reference for sacred. It's like we're blind to it, and at the same time, it's right in front of us. I have seen that within myself, where something as simple as the air, I was like, I am never separated from the sacred, but it is so overlooked because of attention is elsewhere, or what we give so much praise and attention to, that overshadows the truth and the deeper reality of the sacredness that we are never separate from.
Yeah, you trying to be without the air.
Shoot. And you know I be breathing and doing the breath retention, but at some point I gotta take another breath.
Yeah, like you try not having no air for a while, and see if your attention isn't brought back to the clarity of its position in your reality.
That's right.
You know, like the air is central to your experience.
Yeah.
It's very central. It's kind of amusing because the earth is the same way, the sun is the same way. These are essential components of who we are. We are the air. We are filled with air. Our bodies are filled with like 90% air. There's a lot of air space.
Yes, space between those molecules. It's not all as solid as it looks.
Absolutely. And the same with the light. The light is the ingredient from which we were designed or created. So the earth is, we operate as the earth for all the things that live on and inside of us, just like Mother Earth, all the things that live on and inside of her. And then she is a conscious being as we are a conscious being. And then she has, her relationship with the sun and all of the other heavenly bodies. No, it's so holographic.
Beautiful as well, but again, going back to the imbalancing, how like the beauty escapes us because of how out of balance we are.
It's we've lost the thread of teaching that would teach the children the ancient understandings that we arise from the materials that are the earth. This is a closed system. We don't fly in from Neptune. Like we are made of...
Shout out to Neptune, but we're not from there.
we're made from what's on the vehicles that our souls are in are made from this planet. And we are galactic or universal, but I think that's overlooked. And then in it being overlooked, it explains why we overlook all of the components that are us and have such little respect for each of those aspects and the intelligences that have been gathered here on the earth plane or on Earth Mother for us to interact with. So this oneness has been coming up a lot with clients and situations where people are having conversations with aspects of creation that they deemed themselves greater than. And it's taught through our cultivation on our planet that we are greater than the things that are smaller than us, especially the things we could step on. We're greater than that, and we could step on them, and we even let our children do that, or hurt them, or a whole variety of things. And this is really having to do with the humanity losing touch with being human, being the one who is the steward of this. The oneness is, we're not doing this because Earth needs a babysitter. We're doing this because we are Earth. Like, we're not doing Earth a favor. Earth is intelligent, and without us would be doing quite well. It is more that we are doing this because we are one with that consciousness, and we can lend our aspect of our own creativity to the creativity that already exists. But it's not like Earth don't know what she's doing, or that the ants don't know what they're doing, or that the roaches don't know what they're doing. It's not like that. It's not like our grand intelligence is needed to make the plan work. It's like we can throw in our intelligence to be of assistance as the plan unfolds, would be more like it.
Yeah.
But that's not the position that humanity has chosen to take in most cases.
No, we insane rascals doing whatever the heck we want versus allowing ourselves to be the truth of the design. And so it seems like a lot of what we're experiencing within not only the timeline split, but just the current, the undercurrent of growth for humanity is this moving back to oneness, moving back to balance. Whether we're looking at that from the perspective of, well, actually it's all perspectives, but the internal balance between the masculine and feminine, the sacred within, helps, I have found in my experience, to have reverence for other forms of life.
Yes.
Like when you really see, like, that's me. Man, I had this moment with a roach. This was years ago, and I love roaches now. Like I can have them crawl on my hand and everything. Like I'm talking like the big ones. You know, we're good.
Well, we get those Atlanta roaches.
Yeah, Atlanta ones be. You know, there's warrior roaches standing on hind legs. There's other stories, but the point is, I remember how real in the field it was. I remember this was before I fully embraced them. I remember a roach, big water bug, walking across the floor, and I could see the response real time to my fear, and there was this thought of, "Don't come over here," and it would come closer, and then like I would stop, breathe, and not thinking, it would stop, and then when the fear would rise up of, "I hope it doesn't come over here," it would start walking, and there was like no lapse in the response in the field, and I was in such a heightened state where I couldn't deny it. I was like, "Oh my gosh, this thing is responding to me. It's responding to my feelings." So maybe if I'm just cool and I embrace it, you know. But
it's so funny that we think nothing understands what's going on but us.
yeah,
It's like we think that dogs, cats, you know, any living thing, babies, children, that nobody knows what's going on inside our head when everybody can see right through us.
This is why I say we've been sold something that is such a lie.
Yeah.
And look, I know you probably can't find your receipt, but it is time to, even if you can't return it, drop it off at the nearest dump site, because this type of behavior, it just doesn't serve us.
It's true. It's true. It's so ridiculous that we create these artificial boundaries. You know, it's like when someone says, "I don't believe in anything I can't see." I'm like,
yeah, well, that is stupid. Do you hear me? That's very unintelligent, if I may.
yes.
We didn't see bacteria
We can't
until
see
we saw.
You can't see when you're pregnant for a while.
Well, it was magic. It was a mystery. How'd that happen?
Yeah. You're like, so, but we say all these things that we think quiets the audience.
Shut your limited, linear, only believe what I can see, fragmented, only left brain having.
So that would be the same thing as someone said, "You're not communicating with the roach." Like everything is conscious.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Everything is conscious, even if it has the consciousness that was put into it by the person who made it. It all has consciousness. And yes, you can tap into it if you know how. And often you are not knowing that you know how. You're often laying on the bed and feeling something from the people who made the bed, or sitting in the house feeling something from the people who built the house. That's what property clearing is all about, and that's, our lane, our specialty. So consciousness, everything is consciousness, and the consciousness of oneness is pervasive, except that we inform the field in the same way you inform the roach. We inform nature in the field, and so because we have informed the field, the natural field has been suppressed by our levels of ignorance. Ignoring, our levels of ignoring truth and light and life and consciousness.
It's crazy. I saw a visual like, oh, I'm separate. I'm not connected to this. Get this out of here.
So, what does the future of money look like to you, Alex?
The future of money won't be about what we use. It'll be about who we trust. We're heading into a world where money is no longer paper. It's data. Central bank, digital currencies, programmable payments, and surveillance systems will redefine how value moves. But here's the twist. The more digital it gets, the more people will crave something real. That's why gold and silver aren't disappearing. They're becoming the anchor in a world of floating code. Money will evolve technologically, but it will always revolve around trust. And digital systems can't replicate 5,000 years of human belief in tangible value. The future of money? Digital convenience built on physical truth. The code will change, but the collateral won't. Because in every era, old or new, gold stays the final receipt.
So it's important. Did you have any other thoughts before we move on?
Well, just a little solution for those, because especially for those who are pacing, calling forth the power of the divine feminine, the divine masculine to move into us is something we encourage everyone to do, because we have been operating in masculinity and femininity in detriment, which is the ignorance. It's the fear of both polarities. One polarity mad at the other, one polarity thinking it's greater, and it's like, no, we work together. There was a thought I had last night. I was like, dang, it's such a psyop, because even the spiritual systems sometimes, they create limitations on how they describe the polarities.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Everything's in harmony with the system that exists.
Yeah, and it's wild. I was thinking, I was like, dang, even that is the way how they paint the masculine and feminine it's not this fiery and ice that is incompatible.
Yeah,
no.
Who painted the picture?
Right? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know who the heck sold us this. We went in the store, we bought it.
Yeah. The reality is that, and we all know this is not a revelation. We all know that for life to exist, it requires the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Those two polarities exist as our brains exist. On one side is left and one side is right, and that it makes one brain work that works together. That's the model. We are physically representations of the spiritual principle of oneness through the two polarities of creation, the divine masculine and feminine, but we're suspicious of each other because of what has happened with our misunderstandings. But it can be that we can see into the truth of our experience to call upon for a solution of loving both aspects of ourselves and being able to identify, what I just did, that was the masculine in me, and I'm so pleased that I have that aspect, and that the feminine in me will take care of this other thing that I have that aspect for. And everybody is on a sliding scale of flux of how much they will be in any given moment, but it is to remove either leaves us with a lack of creativity, which is what creates war. This is the best creation we can come up with, is war. That's the most creative thing we can do.
When you operating with one hemisphere, one leg, as you say, we over here hopping around on one leg, can't run. You can barely get around.
And this is what we can think of.
Remedial.
Yeah, like this is the best thing we can think of to solve this dilemma. And is there even a dilemma to be solved?
No, it's like,
Is there even an argument or a reason? I mean, there may not even be an argument. There just may be one hemisphere, in operation. No argument, nothing to decide, no terror. It's just all just one hair out of place.
yeah.
That won't.
Like it won't lay down its. It's like, come on, get with the program, the original template. It's like, nope, the rebellion.
Yeah, so it's kind of that way, but it's all to our greatest benefit. The circumstance we find ourselves in is to our greatest and highest benefit for humanity, because we cannot build on top of what has happened. It must be deconstructed. We must have a clean slate. We must be able to go back to zero and start over again. We cannot do it on the levels of detriment that exist on the earth plane at this time. We have to move out of the neighborhood. We got to move out of the third dimension. We have to move to the fifth dimension. Yes, we got to move, because we have trashed the third and fourth dimension. So we have to move to the fifth dimension, where there's an opportunity for us.
I'm with that.
So the solution that you have is great. And I think that this is a good way for us to tidy up.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
So we thank you very much for joining us today in this discussion about the divine masculine, the divine feminine, some of our current states of being, and hopefully this will help you, along with all of humanity, go a little deeper into thinking a little differently about it. Thank you for joining us in Lakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, gratitude, integrity, discipline, and action. Thank you.